point to my argument that the goaltending position is the most consequential in sports, Brian, because Evelsmer's Leakins stole this game. 47 saves in the contest on 49 Flyers shots. He was sensational. Brian's not listening to me. He's talking to somebody. So we'll continue the conversation. Flyers outshoot the Columbus Blue Jackets 49-30 in the game. And Merzlikins was just spectacular. 20 first period shots, 18 in the second. What's that mean? 11 more in the third?
Yeah, 11. Yep.
That's unbelievable.
That was it. A total of 78 shot attempts. Really what we're getting at here.
We'll hit the cold bath tonight, Elvis.
Yeah,
Elvis has left the building. Holy cow, what a performance.
Yep.
He was great in the game. And this is just one of those games you look at and you go, okay, they got really good high-end goaltending on a high volume of shots. It just wasn't the strongest night for Carter.
No, and that's going to happen, And your hope is that when it happens on a night where your offense is able to bail you out. And just tonight, the Flyers ran into a hot one. So it's a bad combination. If your goalie's having an off night and then you run into a hot one on the other side, it's it's kind of tough. But again, it was it's a game that the Flyers can definitely build off of. Obviously, right now the results aren't as crucial to a lot of things as it normally is. But it's it's one of those games where it's just kind of tough for the Flyers to to figure out exactly what more they would need to do to beat the guy. I mean, it's just it's just one of those days. But I liked a lot of things we saw in this game. We saw the young guys contributing, getting some confidence into their game, and they're gonna take that now and try to keep building on it.
Absolutely, and let's get to the BetRivers.com highlight reels. I do want to play these Flyers goals for you. Brendan Gaunce opened the scoring in the first period, 2:38 into the game, then 13:23 into the game. Carson Meyer picked up his first NHL goal, and then the Flyers. So they're down 2-0 here, and then late in the first period, we get our first goal of his NHL career for Noah Cates. Comes at 17:35. Great assist from Patrick Brown. Cates gets the Flyers on the board, makes the score 2-1.
Broke into the middle. Brown missed it. That was a shot to carry him off the end wall. Elvis Christensen unable to clear. Knocked down by Patrick Brown. Brown's got a man in front to the centering pass, and they score. He put it right onto the stick of Noah Cates, and Noah Cates has his first goal in the NHL. In this, his fourth game in the league, Noah Cates has the Flyers on the board.
What a very good finish from Noah Cates. And when I talked to him, Brian, after the second period, still had a smile on his face.
I bet he's going to be floating for a little while. It's a long time coming for him. It's kind of easy to forget that when you are a young player, or you're I guess when you're not a young player, when you're a fan watching a young player and you just think, all right, well, we drafted this guy and he's been in college. Now he comes in, gets his first goal. For this guy, it's been a complete journey, right? This has been, all what his life has been about since he was probably about 10 years old. Is going as far as he can in the hockey world, and there's a lot of steps. The first step you take is getting a college offer, and then the next step you take is getting drafted, and then even after you get drafted, you got to make it to the National Hockey League, and then you get your first goal. And then, the road doesn't even end there, in terms of improving and trying to stick on the roster. But it's one of those huge milestones along the way that you're always going to remember. It's nice that he was able to do it, again, on a very nice goal and do it in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, he does it, I guess this is his fourth game?
Third or fourth, yeah.
So he played Minnesota, Toronto, and then he played Sunday against the Rangers. So, it's his fourth game. So he gets that first NHL goal. So congrats to Noah Cates. Really shows a lot of jump out there, too. Really good way he covers the ice, can move well, and obviously in that case moved to a really good spot. And Patrick Brown got him the puck, and he gets his first NHL goal. So we'd end the first period with the Flyers trailing 2-1. But in the second, 13-16 in, Flyers get the game tied. James Van Riemsdyk doing the net front duties as Ronnie Adder gets the puck there. JVR tips it, picks up his 18th.
Lead pass behind the defense. Here's Owen Tippett. Took the shot and kicked away by Merzlikins. That's another breakaway for Owen Tippett. He's had 3 of the last 2 games.
Everything happens in 3, so he's got the 3 breakaways, and they're all the same.
Ronnie Adder with a shot. He scores! Traffic out in front of the net. If it's JVR, it would actually be Van Riemsdyk's 18th of the season, but the Flyers have tied the score at 2.
Yeah, great shot there from Adder, and good net front from James Van Riemsdyk. He gets a piece of it. Flyers get the game tied at 2. Hayes with an assist. Adder with an assist, his first NHL point. JVR with the goal. Flyers will go to the third period tied at 2, but at 13-16, let's actually play this, Rye. At 13-16 of the period, this turns out to be the game winner. Comes off the stick of Justin Danforth, his 8th of the season.
Fired in deep. Back out right point. Here's the shot by Jacquin. Rebound in front. They score. They do push it in. Carter Hart made the save, but he didn't control that rebound. And it came free. I think Justin Danforth gets credit for his 8th of the season. And Columbus has taken the lead.
Yeah, Justin Danforth there. And this is, as he makes the initial save, Carter Hart, he lunges at it with his stick to control the rebound. Pops off his pad, and then he tries to poke it away with the stick. And when you lean forward with the stick to try and poke it away, what does it do? It opens all kinds of holes up. You become like this piece of Swiss cheese that opens up. And it opens up the pads, it opens up the 5-hole, and it opens up the opportunity for Columbus to score.
And that's, why we always talk about getting the goaltender moving. If you get a guy that's, really zeroed in on his game, the only way that you can really solve them usually is to get him two ways. You can get traffic in front of him, number one, but it's easier to try to get him moving and get him off his game a little bit.
Get him opened up.
And get him opened up, and that's that's what happened here. It's one thing to just fire shot after a guy and not make him move. It's usually more effective if you can at least try to get him moving right to left or something. I mean, that's how Carter's that's how the second goal went. And Carter was moving and didn't seal off the ice level there by the post and chipped in there. So it's a good execution by the Blue Jackets, and it's just another chapter in this crazy game where you can dramatically outshoot an opponent, but they get the ones where it counts.
Absolutely. They end up getting the empty netter to ice this one as the Flyers are unable to get it tied, and Columbus takes game 1 of the home and home. Flyers will try and exact a little revenge in Cam Atkinson's first trip back to Columbus coming up on Thursday as the month of April, final month of the regular season, continues. And we'll see if they can get that win coming up on Thursday in Columbus. So Columbus's 7-game winless skid is by the wayside. And the Flyers will look to get a win coming up on Sunday there in Columbus. So let's wrap up our radio audience, let them go on WMMR and the Flyers radio network. So let's thank Ryan Shuttleworth on his performance tonight back at the station.
Especially on the dump.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to perform magic duties, and he did it tonight. And no, he did not dump Brian, and he did not dump me. Not on this occasion. Let's thank also on highlights, Chris Ashcraft, the Pancake Man. For Tim Saunders, Steve Coates, Betsy Deming, our on-site engineer, Brian Smith, I'm Jason Martinez. You've been listening to Philadelphia Flyers Hockey on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network. Good night, everybody.
Hope you can sleep well tonight. I have. Nice. All right. See ya.
Yeah, right. All right, you can kill station in our ears if that's possible. There we go. And now we're still on the stream. And
as long as you hit the button this time.
I got accused of drinking the Kool-Aid.
Sorry, what?
Ed said that
what Kool-Aid?
on our stream said team's a disgrace. Don't even watch anymore. One loss after another. I said, well, they played well, Edward. The Elvis was spectacular in goal for Columbus. And he said, but you keep drinking the Kool-Aid, Jason. Ed, pay attention a little closer, brother. I've been highly critical of this team in this season. They have not been good. It's been a miserable season. But right now you're playing a lot of young guys. You hope you can move forward, and you hope the team can really kind of get some of these guys some good experience. You hope some of these young guys develop into really good NHL players that contribute. I don't think any of them are going to be stars. We're not saying that. But you hope that some of these young guys, like Cates, like Adder, are consistent NHL players that can help this team.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong here. Nobody likes losing, but once the Flyers hit the point this season where they were not going to, they were not going to make the playoffs, and that wasn't when they were mathematically eliminated. That was probably a month before that, at least. Once that happened, you shift your focus, and your focus becomes on not necessarily wins and losses, but developing your guys for the long haul. And that's why if the Flyers wanted to win as many games as they could for the rest of the season, they would not have traded Claude Giroux. And you don't trade Justin Braun, you don't trade Derek Brassard. You keep everybody and you see how many you can win. So that's not the primary objective anymore. Granted, again, they all want to win every game they can. But again, it's about taking guys like Morgan Frost and putting him in a role where he can get 5 shots on goal in a game, 8 total attempts. He played 15:02. Cam York, 8 shot attempts, 4 on, 4 off. The young guys playing in their early part of their career now, Ronnie Adder, Noah Cates, just getting them out in meaningful situations. And there's not quite as much room to go around defensively as you'd like. Ronnie Adder only played 14:51, but it's all part of the whole process here is to get themselves situated for next season and decide who that's part of this group right now is going to be part of the plan moving forward. There are definitely guys coming in that aren't here right now, whether it's free agents, whether it's another deal going down at some point here, maybe at the draft. There are reinforcements, I think, at the level that the fans want to see that will be here in the fall, but they're not here now. And so, the idea is to go out there with as many young guys as you can. And again, I like everything about tonight except for the result.
Yeah.
And because of where the Flyers are, there's not too much of a reason to get bent out of shape about the result, fortunately. If this was a situation where they were on the playoff fence and they were fighting Columbus for the last spot, then yeah, you can get all bent out of shape about the result. But there was enough that happened in this game tonight that was good on an individual level for the result to be a little mitigated.
Not only that, I think the other part too with young players, and it's not just about getting guys like Adder or Cates into the lineup and exposing them to the NHL level of play and the time and space you have, the physicality, the speed, all of those elements. But it's also getting other guys that maybe made their NHL debut in a season prior or even 2 years ago. It's about putting them into positions in an NHL game in certain key segments of the game that are important to stress them in a different way. And for example, seeing guys like Morgan Frost, who's played a decent amount of NHL games to this point, but putting him in situations where when he was younger in his NHL game career, you wouldn't put him out there. But now with so many young players in the lineup, you put him into these more strenuous or important or situations that he wouldn't be in prior to now expose him to another level of NHL exposure, to let him see what that part of about, possession of the puck in a 3-on-3 overtime, or about, just a key defensive zone draw with, 91 seconds left in a game against the top line of an opposition in a tie game, those kind of things. And those things, because you got to get in and learn what the NHL game is, and then you got to learn the nuance elements and segments of an NHL game, and that's part of this as well.
Yeah, it's just about reps. It's about getting out there in meaningful situations and getting experience, so that next year when the Flyers are back to square one on opening night and they're looking for every point they can get, these guys will be more prepared to handle those situations. You don't want you don't want guys coming out just pretty much dead on their first time when things are on the line. It's a long season, and obviously you're going to have rookies that start next year with no NHL experience. But the more guys that you have, they're going to be part of your future that can get experience right now, the better. And that's why Keith Yandel didn't play the other night. That's why the Flyers decided that they would get rid of not get rid of, but they would allow players like Justin Braun to go on a playoff run and get some draft picks in return. So and again, these are guys that the Flyers knew they wanted to have as part of the group. They actually jettisoned 2 more contracts in the Giroux trade to make room for these guys.
Yeah, Connor Butterman and German Rupsa.
Yeah. So, they definitely are actively trying to turn the page here on, dead wood is not the term I want to use really, but that's the analogy. Guys that they did not see as being a part of their future, and getting the guys. This could have happened in the offseason. They say, okay, we're not going to resign. We're not going to offer Sheet German Rupsoff. We're not going to offer Sheet Connor Bunneman. We're going to sign these guys that finish their college careers. They're going to start in the fall. But again, it's not just about whether you start now versus when you start the fall in terms of 5 games here and instead of the fall. The guys that are playing right now that have not played in the NHL before, after these 12 games are done or whatever, they get to go through an entire summer of training knowing what it's like to play in the National Hockey League, and that is huge.
I think it's a really big thing.
That is just that's experience that you cannot duplicate anywhere else, and that will help their development in the off season, not even when they're not playing in NHL games. That's a big deal, and that's why the Flyers are approaching it the way they are right now.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I've talked about that quite a bit. I think that is a bigger deal than people realize. And we've talked with enough young players on Flyers Daily to talk about that, going into an offseason with that knowledge of what it takes to compete at the NHL level and how much that it changes their preparation going forward.
Yeah.
So maybe some things like you're preparing for that don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And because you played, that this isn't as important as this is.
Yeah.
Like burst, right? And that first step is so important. And you realize not only that I need more strength, but here's where I need that strength.
Yes.
In board battles.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned the step. Like, okay, so you can go over all the drills you want in the off season in terms of breakout drills and stuff like that, and you can get better that way. But what's even more effective is being able to sit down with a player with 20 games worth of video from the end of this season and go over his shifts and say, okay, here's what you did here. This is good. Here's what you did here. You need to do this differently. That's stuff you can't get that without playing them in these games at this point, which is why that's what's important here about the close of the season. Again, more so than wins and losses. And I'm not saying that the Flyers are putting these guys in at the expense of wins and losses because they don't care about them. They certainly do. But I'm just saying that it's not something to dwell on for the rest of this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the Flyers will be back at it on Thursday in Columbus. The return of Cam Atkinson. That'll be a bit of an emotional night for him because he's a guy that we know he's incredibly passionate, Bri, and he's what I would call an immersive athlete, a guy who immerses himself in all elements of the city for which he is playing in. It's not just coming in and being a pro player there. He immerses himself in the community, in the, he's got the charity work that he's done there. He's got some mini rinks, 3-on-3 rinks that he's involved in there. So he's a full immersion type athlete, and I'm sure it'll be a big deal for him to go back to the only other team that he's played for.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's pretty similar to how Claude Giroux was here in terms of being involved in the community and stuff, but it's maybe more tenfold, and it's just because it's a personality thing. I mean, Giroux was a quiet contributor to the community, kind of, but Cam Atkinson is much more was a very gregarious contributor to the community there. They had had a foundation. He was tied in with the Children's Hospital, and it was he had a lot going on there other than just the hockey that he was playing, and so I remember when he was traded here. We had the press conference on Zoom because that's what we were doing back then. And Aaron Portzline, the beat writer for the Blue Jackets, I believe is with the Athletic now, asked him a question, and his response was, yeah, Portsy, this, and this, and this. And he's on a nickname basis with the reporters.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the kind of personality that he has. And you can bet that if he was on the nickname basis with the reporters, that there's probably an entire staff worth of people at Nationwide Arena that haven't seen him since he left that are going to be very excited to see him tomorrow on Thursday night. So yeah, it's going to be an emotional night for him for sure.
No question about it. So we'll have that coming up on Thursday. Like you said, there's only 12 games left in the season, which is insane. But so they'll have the game Thursday in Columbus. Then the Flyers will return here to the Wells Fargo Center Saturday, 7:30 start. Saturday evening, Lou Nolan celebration night for his 50 years with the Flyers at 7:30 against the Anaheim Ducks. And then we'll go to Washington next Tuesday, back home here at Wells Fargo on Wednesday against the Rangers. They'll be looking to exact a little revenge. And then the home and home with Buffalo on Saturday and Sunday. In Buffalo Saturday, home here at Wells Fargo Center on Sunday. Then it's at Toronto, at Montreal. The Penguins for a final visit of the season on April 24th. The Blackhawks in Chicago, final road trip to Chicago and Winnipeg. Nothing says Winnipeg, a road trip or fun time in April.
At least it's April.
Yeah, good point.
Oh, man.
That's a Monday, Wednesday in Chicago, and then Winnipeg. And then final game of the season will be Friday, April 29th, Wells Fargo Center against the Ottawa Senators.
That'll be, I assume that's going to be awards night, and that's going to be a cherry on top, I guess, if you will. But it's
put a black bow on it.
Yep. If there's any solace in the season ending on that night, the way it's going to end, it's that it's going to be a relatively short off season. We are still trying to get back on a normal calendar in the NHL, and the hope is that once we get through this off season, another late playoffs and another late draft, that the NHL will start mid-October. And normally, we'd be wrapping up like now-ish or this weekend.
Yeah, this will be the final weekend of the season.
We're about 3 weeks behind because of that Olympic break that was in there. So, we're hoping to get back to finally to real normal when we start the 22-23 season. It's crazy to say that year, but that's what's coming. And again, I think an off season is ahead where there are pieces coming in, pieces that'll be exciting for the organization and for the fan base, and just hoping that this this month here and the month before it, that some of these young guys get in, pays off in terms of development for next year. We get some healthy guys back, and players like Kevin Hayes come back next year playing like they are right now, and things are going to be all right.
Yeah, it's the NHL, the Cup, the last possible date the Cup could be handed out is June 30th, which also ends the hockey league calendar. The NHL works on a July 1st to June 30th.
Did they extend
calendar.
the contracts this year or no?
No, they didn't need to because of that. Yeah, and then the draft will be on July 7th and 8th. The 2022 NHL entry draft, and then the UFA, RFA, UFA signing period begins on July 13th. It'll be a couple weeks, and the GMs and everybody will head off to the cottages for the remaining probably 3 weeks. It's in Westchester.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right at my house.
Mine's in my backyard.
Yeah. And then so they'll have the 3 weeks in August there. Players will start reporting, and we'll be back to an early October start and a normal NHL season. No Olympic break, none of that stuff. And hopefully full buildings and a lot of optimism going.
Flyers wins.
Yeah, hopefully. All right, let's wrap it up. We'll be joining you coming up on Thursday. Flyers Columbus game will be on MMR again. We'll stream at 6:30. Remember to hit go live this time on time, and we'll see you guys on Thursday. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you everybody on Thursday night.